welcome back to my channel. Pixie of course decides now is the right time for her to scratch. If you haven't watched last year's, what are you doing? Go and watch that after this. And this year I actually put the question to you. I selected 20 movies for you to pick 12 from, and I picked the 12 most popular. So we're going to be reviewing these movies right here. In case you don't know, Instagram is sort of how we have this parasocial relationship, and that is how you chose these movies from being involved in my stories. So if you weren't part of it, I'm sorry, but please do also leave your B-grade movie recommendations down below for next year, because this will be our annual tradition. So I can guide you with good movies, bad movies, movies to definitely avoid, and movies which aren't even Christmas movies.
She doesn't even go here.
I've had to make a whole other category this year because some movies are claiming to be Christmas movies because that's what people have put them as part of lists of. Just because a movie happens at Christmas time does not make it a Christmas movie necessarily. There has to be a Christmas message and warm fuzzy feelings and those sort of revelations. Those need to be in a movie for it to be counted as being a Christmas movie. In my mind, okay, I'm not saying that I'm a Christmas movie expert, but I kind of am, so I will hopefully steer you well. So shall we get on to the categories? I will not be spoiling these movies for you so that you can go and enjoy them yourself. So what makes a B-tier movie? A-tier movies, to me at least, they're the classics. They're ageless, they're approachable to everyone, they're normally big budget. Basically, they are beloved. For B-tier, think cheesy, gimmicky, for the lulz, or something that's not quite a big enough budget for, but you do see often around this time of year. So that's the sort of thing that I'm on about, and kind of, I sometimes prefer B-tier movies because they don't take themselves seriously. And like I said, I'm here for some escapism. Sometimes we need it, okay? The world is grim enough, and it's just getting grimmer. The categories are the same as before. S tier is Best in Snow. A tier is You Slay Me. B tier is A Holly Jolly Time. C tier is Feeling Sentimental. D tier is Let's Get Elfed Up, because honestly you need a few to be able to get through one of these movies. Even though I'm not drinking now, I still would put things in this category. E tier is Resting Grinch Face. And F tier is Get the Elf Out of Here. And like I said, there is a new category of She Doesn't Even Go Here, because some movies are not Christmas movies, okay? You may like to watch them at this time of year, but they are not Christmas movies. Fight me in the comments. Boost me in the algorithm. Thank you very much.
Cost of a median cranial debulking surgery is around $340,000. That's without anesthesia. You'll want that.
Check again, make sure I'm not covered.
Last Holiday 2006, available on Netflix. A hardworking woman who gets overlooked constantly gets diagnosed with the fact that she's only got 3 weeks left to live, and she's been denying herself her whole entire life, including even the amazing food that she cooks. She won't even eat that. She denies herself joy and lives her life through creating the old school version of Pinterest, which is her book of possibilities, a scrapbook of things that she wants to do, dreams that she has, and she's never done any of them. Upon hearing this news, she says screw it and decides to go off on a whole adventure and fulfill her dreams. Now, when you actually look at her surroundings, the money that she's splurging here could have made a big difference for a wide number of people, but hey, you know what? This is a trope for a reason, and sometimes for someone that really doesn't treat herself much in life, she deserves it. She feeds people all the time. It's fine. Go and treat yourself, sweetie. And plus, this is Queen Latifah, so you know you're in for a pretty good time. It has some 2000s humor that isn't great, and honestly, watching as a vegan, there are a whole number of times where I was either rolling my eyes at the screen or I was having to look away because there's a lot of animals being used in the cooking, so that's for me personally. I'm sure that most of you won't even care, but for me personally, I was like, oh god. So this is going in Feeling Sentimental.
Morning, dickhead.
Hello, moron.
Grumpy Old Men, 1993, available on Neon and Hulu and some other websites I won't mention. This actually took me by surprise because I went into this thinking the humor would be terrible, that all the jokes would be absolutely awful, but I had a really good time watching this. I was shocked. This movie really is about old friends who became rivals and try and stitch that back together. And they have hilarious escapades on each other. They play pranks on each other all the time. It is genuinely hilarious. There are some definitely bad jokes that haven't aged all that well because this is 1993, and you could possibly say that Anne Margaret's character is a bit of a manic pixie dream girl prototype, but she also was just living her own life. I would recommend watching this movie with parents if you want to have something sort of festive but not like too festive, something that they'll also enjoy too. If you don't like Christmas movies, I still feel like you'll get a lot out of this. I'm putting this in a holly jolly time. I had a really good time watching this, and I'll definitely be watching it again. And I think that there's actually a part 2, so I'll see if that could fit into the Christmas category, because if so, maybe we'll do it next year.
You and I are going to be best friends for all eternity.
Eternity? How long is that?
Search for Santa Paws 2010, available on Disney+. Do you hate me? Because you voted for this. This actually won quite a bit when it comes to the votes. I was wanting to peel my skin off watching this movie. At the start of the movie, there's this dog struggling to walk in booties, and it just gets worse from there. I know that child actors have to go through so much, but why did they cast this main girl? She looks adorable, but her voice, I just felt really bad for her because you could tell like she was constantly being told, project your voice harder.
Didn't make it. They had to go to heaven. And who will brush my hair?
Because she has a really soft-spoken voice, so I felt really bad for her, and plus the child acting in this is, oh my god. It's like Annie the musical, but worse. So I was just not having a good time with this, and then suddenly it gets really dark because of this furnace that keeps getting featured, and the dog nearly died. It just... Did I get any warm fuzzies? Did I get anything like that? No. And it has the animals talking, and it's just, oh my god. I know that this movie has a lot of sequels. I don't care. I'm not putting myself through this ever again. This goes into resting Grinch face. I feel so sorry for any parents that have to watch this with their children, because I hated it.
It's in the termination of James Harris here in
Whoa. I'm getting fired?
laid off.
But it's Christmas Eve.
Christmas Eve from 2015, available on Tubi. So because I'm watching so many movies, I figured, you know what, I've got a husband, let's rope him in. He may enjoy this one. This looks like something he could enjoy. Don't watch a Christmas movie with a civil engineer unless you want to have everything kind of ruined and go on a lesson, because the whole catalyst for this movie is the fact that a car crash happens, which means that an entire block of New York City gets out of power. So then all of these strangers and people that have like sort of interrelated lives get stuck in lifts together or alone, and they have to have their sort of revelations. Apparently that can't happen, and I had a wonderful lesson from my husband about why that can't happen. So as a heads up, accuracy is not a thing, but again, I'm not anticipating any civil engineers were part of the production of this movie. I feel like they were trying to do a bit of a take on Love Actually, but they failed so spectacularly. It's like they didn't have good enough writers on this movie, to be perfectly honest with you, because it could have worked. The premise could genuinely have worked. But the way that they wrote the teenagers was incredibly sexist. Oh my god, the worst elevator to be in was with this creepy dude that started trying to like hit on this woman. And I was like, oh no, we're gonna end up with a rape or a murder here. I was getting very worried, and then I had the penny drop because this is from 2015. And I realized that of course they're gonna make her into the uptight woman, and he's the one that's gonna bring her out of her shell. And that's exactly what happened. Do you know what we get? I'm spoiling this for you, I don't care, because you won't really enjoy this. Instead of the very real threat that he posed, because I don't know if you've ever been alone as a woman, there's very real threats when you're alone around men and they find you attractive or even unattractive. They make it so that they have a photo shoot. I'm sorry, what kind of world? I can suspend my disbelief for a lot, but oh my god, this guy was trash, and then you're kind of rewarding him this whole time. Oh, see, he was right the whole time. All you need to do was like be mean to a girl constantly. Oh, just, I was having such a bad time. I was actually yelling at the screen. Patrick Stewart plays this evil billionaire, but he can't really act it. Like, I am a fan of Captain Picard, okay? They kind of ruined him with this. Maybe he just wasn't given good enough direction, or the material was really bad, but he gets stuck in this lift outside, right? And it kind of plummets a bit, and the door flings open, but he is such a terrible person. I was like, fall! I don't care! Go to your death! Yeah. I don't have much sympathy for evil billionaires, okay? So what? I really did not have a good time with this movie. There's a couple of kind of redeeming moments, but really overall, get the elf out of here. I don't want to see this movie ever again, and I do not recommend that you watch it either.
From my living room window as I write, I can look out across the broad front lawns of our farm, like a lovely picture postcard of wintry New England.
Christmas in Conneticut from 1945, available on Amazon Prime, Roku, and a few websites I won't mention. If you don't know anything about me, I adore vintage cinema, and this is no exception. If you can't handle black and white movies, you won't like this. It's kind of a screwball comedy set at Christmas time. So Barbara Stanwyck's character writes for a magazine making out recipes. She paints this picture of this beautiful idyllic life in the countryside with a husband and has a baby and everything's gorgeous, but none of it's true. She's actually just writing this from her apartment in the city, just living her best life. Honestly iconic. The way that she actually gets to write the recipes is because she's friends with a chef who constantly brings her up nice food. She works really hard and she rewards herself with this beautiful coat, even though it's first, we kind of hate that, but she really enjoys her life, and that's not painted as a negative thing. And this is in 1945. May I remind you, even today, if a movie was made today about that, they'd be saying, oh, poor sad woman, it's like Bridget Jones. She must be so sad she's single and living alone. No, she's living her best life. She gets fed great food. She buys herself whatever she wants. She's a girl boss. Like, here for it. She's fulfilled without a man. Through a series of events and favors owed, this guy that gets rescued after being stranded on a boat for ages, he manages to wrangle his way through manipulation and gaslighting, might I add, which isn't really ideal, but it kind of works out in the end. It's fine, don't worry. He has a dream of being able to have this proper Christmas with all this amazing food that he's been reading about in these magazines, and her boss's boss arranges it so that they all go and stay at her beautiful country cottage. But oh my gosh, she's a single woman. What is she gonna do? Because she's been living this lie. So this guy that's wanted her for years at this point, it seems, is saying, oh, I've got to make an honest woman out of you. So he goes with them too, and it's this whole facade going on. I also have to point out the fact that the guy that got rescued, so they have to borrow a baby for the fake story to be complete. It's a whole thing, but she obviously doesn't know how to care for a baby. I wouldn't know how to care for a baby. So the guy that gets rescued, he is all excited to be able to help him pitch in because he's looked after his sister's kids and he knows what he's doing. So he doesn't shame her for the fact that she doesn't know what she's doing. And this is pretty amazing. May I repeat? 1945. Whereas these days still women would be mocked if they didn't have maternal instincts, if they didn't know how to look after a baby. So I just love that fact. It's really cute. Again, if you don't like vintage cinema, you won't like this, but I put in this in a holly jolly time because I had a really good time with this. I would put it higher, but I know that not everyone will be keen for this sort of movie. But I'm gonna add this to my annual roster because I had such a good time. Barbara Stanwyck is amazing.
They didn't sound happy. And then you punched the wall and yelled the F word.
Okay, yeah, I don't really recall doing that, so yeah.
You did. You were like, oh my God. Just like that.
Switching things up entirely, A Bad Mum's Christmas, or Mom's Christmas, whatever. This is from 2017. This is my confession, I haven't seen the first movie. Don't shoot me, I'm sorry. All I've done is like collect it for clips for a video that I've done on this video right here. That's the only reason I watched parts of it. I'm not a parent or caregiver at all, nor will I ever be, okay? But the whole issue about having to make sure that everything is perfect for Christmas and the huge amount of stress that that puts on people, that I can relate to, and I think most of us can.
Why am I responsible for getting every gift for everyone in my entire family? Ugh. I mean, just because I'm a girl? Yeah. It's 2017.
I thought so.
So these mums are retaliating against the fact that they've got all of this pressure put on them again and they're just sick of it, which is understandable. But the way that they do it is to get drunk at a mall and then take it out on all of the workers there. And I've worked in retail for 5 years, okay? I was just getting really angry at them because they're letting out all their frustrations on people that have to clean up after them, that are paid minimum wage, dealing with the most stressful time of year in retail, may I remind you. But the movie does actually get better. It assesses the mother-daughter relationship, which is something which has a challenging dynamic most of the time, which often isn't really talked about. It does get talked about a bit more these days, but previously it was very much, oh, no, how could you possibly not get along with your mother? The issue really is that whilst this could have been incredibly genuine, and the only genuine moments are when the women are with their own families or having like their little bonding moments together, the way that they actually paint the mothers is so extreme, it's completely unrelatable. And I know that movies are meant to be over the top, but it's so over the top extreme. I couldn't see anybody's parents doing the things that happen even on a smaller scale, except for potentially Susan Sarandon's character. That's it, because she just sort of abandons her kid. The way they're written is so not human that it's just, there weren't any genuine moments there. So it could have been really good, but I'm gonna have to put this into let's get elfed up, because I think that you have to match the characters in the movie in order to be able to enjoy this movie.
You gotta be kidding. All I need's a guitar and I'll be ready for the sound of music. Very funny.
Unlikely Angel 1996. Dolly Parton is Christmas. That is it. If you haven't seen my video on her from last year, you should go and check that out after this, because you will understand why I'm saying this. This is a made-for-TV movie where she is called Ruby Diamond, and she's sort of a bad girl, so to speak.
Yeah, he was just trying to show me
how to shift his gears.
Who gets into a car crash. She can't get through the pearly gates because she hasn't lived a good enough life. So her mission is to have to go back down to Earth and repair this family because, of course, it's a made-for-TV movie. What else do you expect? It's gonna be about a father that works too much and kids that feel unloved and a widower. Of course, it is very predictable, but it's also really cute because she sings really well. It's very cute. It's very mid-90s, like, you're just gonna, if you're not in the mood for a really cozy movie, you will hate this, but it is such a cozy movie, and Dolly is just funny in such a sweet way. This movie goes into feeling sentimental. If you want something that is like a nice cup of hot chocolate, then you'll probably like this movie an awful lot. It's Dolly. I don't know what else to tell you. If you know Dolly Parton's work, then you'll know sort of what to expect. Plus, do you recognize this kid? Because he played the character Tucker in a TV show I watched when I must have been 10. I had such a crush on him. Does anybody recognize it? Is this just me? This is probably a really, really niche reference, but I had such a crush on him when I was a kid.
You never take cabs?
No, I either walk or take public transportation.
Why?
A lot of reasons.
So you're one of those public transportation snobs. You look down on people who take taxis.
No, not at all.
Metropolitan 1990. This is not a Christmas movie. The lists have lied to me and I felt betrayed. Okay, it doesn't mean that this is a bad movie, because it's definitely not. If you're in the mood for watching rich elite kids in New York at Christmas time in winter with not really a Christmas reference in sight, then you'll probably like this. You also have to like very wordy movies. We're taken in by this nobody kid who is a socialist and he doesn't like the elite. But he gets dragged to a party because they recognize him as he dated a well-to-do girl previously. But he critiques them, and we get the insufferable guy of whom I have known many of in my life, who drone on about how the bourgeoisie get painted badly and he's trying to rebrand them, and he is just obnoxious. I do quite like seeing Lorelai's boyfriend actually stand up against a guy that did some absolutely abhorrent things. So it's nice to see him like that, but he's definitely the same character as Lorelai's boyfriend.
I think Serena really feels hurt by it.
Oh, give me a break. Serena Slocum? A real feeling?
It's like copy-paste 12 years later, genuinely. but at the same time he still does slut shame others all the time anyway. But yeah, this is going in, she doesn't even go here.
And this must be the man of the house.
So you're him, huh? Mom, this the best you could do?
Actually, it's not the best she can do. I'm sure she can do a lot better.
The Perfect Holiday from 2007. Queen Latifah strikes again. This time though, Gabrielle Union is our main protagonist. This is a movie about a divorced couple and their family, and Gabrielle Union's character used to be married to, wait for it, Jay Jizzy.
One side of me.
One side? Try your only side.
My name may be on a lot of things, but the music, that's where my heart is at.
Heart?
In fact, I done dedicated.
But the thing is that he is a deadbeat dad who just wants to use his kids for good karma, whereas her eldest son wants them to get back together, you know, as most kids of divorce absolutely do want that, especially at Christmas time.
And why your recent custody problem? Yeah, how about that? Why? Huh?
Gabrielle Union's character just wants a man to pay her a compliment, just a simple compliment, and to live in a world where Gabrielle Union isn't getting a compliment every single hour, I can't even imagine living in that world. But the thing is that she meets this guy, they get along great, but there is a lie reveal because he plays Santa. I'm not going to spoil the rest honestly, because this is actually a pretty good time watching this. You can watch this with the family and really enjoy it. I actually like the fact that she's got her female friendships. You've got a whole bunch of stuff, and it does have a lot of heart in this. It's got a lot of laughs. Some of the humor is a little bit 2000s, which is a bit problematic, a bit of fat shaming going on there. But honestly, overall, I really enjoyed the movie. They've got a great cast of characters. I'm putting this into a holly jolly time because I genuinely think that you'll have a really good time watching this.
Don't forget that report, Bill.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Kiss my ass. Kiss his ass. Kiss your ass. Happy Hanukkah.
Oh. Where do you think you're gonna put a tree that big? Bend over and I'll show you. You've got a lot of nerve talking to me like that, Griswold. I wasn't talking to you.
National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. I already know that I'm going to hell, okay, it's not a shocker to me at all, but I love this movie so much. And this does not mean that I'm endorsing Chevy Chase in any way, shape or form, okay? It is such a cynical take on Christmas and I revel in it. I love it. It just pokes at every single trope. It pokes a lot of fun at Chevy's character who just wants to have the perfect family Christmas. And oh my god, the most terrible thing is going to happen. He's not going to get his Christmas bonus, which means he can't put a pool in. Yeah, so very 1989 problems, because that's when this movie came out. Some of the humor is really classist and ageist, and there is definitely objectification that happens, but at the same time I still love this movie because so many of the jokes land still today.
Well, I don't know what to say except it's Christmas and we're all in misery.
Ellen, are you smoking again?
No!
The evil part of me just loves this movie and I crack up every single time. It does actually also have some genuine heartwarming moments in it which sort of take you by surprise. I can't put this movie any higher than You Slay Me though, because same as with Just Friends, like some of the humor is just, it's not passable enough to be put up that high, okay?
Actually plays in the real world.
Oh, yikes. You shouldn't even been wearing that here.
No.
The Santa Clauses on Disney Plus, which came out this year. Now, this was initially listed as a two-part series, so I was like, oh, it's just like watching a movie, it'll be fine. No, apparently we're gonna get more of this terribleness. Oh, great. A lot of the humor is based on Tim Allen's outdatedness and mockery of people. Cal Penn is great as Simon, who's a tech owner, and he's a single father. Like, that part is genuinely sweet, and I hope that as the series goes on, it takes over a lot more. But Tim Allen produced this, and it's just got him written all over it.
This is exactly how I'm perceived. Dumpy. Void of all personality and appeal, and somehow humorless while still providing comic relief.
That reindeer loves those bloomers.
He features so much, and not in a good way, and then worse, they keep reminding us of the good movies that were made in the early 90s. Why would you do it? Stop reminding us that we should be watching something else instead of this trash. Now, I'm sure that Simon will become Santa. They have the same initials, and this is very predictable. I'm so sure that we're going to get people coming out saying, oh, this is too woke because we've got someone that is a person of color playing Santa, and that is not the picture that Coca-Cola drew of Santa in the 50s as an advertising machine. So no, how could you possibly do that? That's just terrible. There will be takes of this, you and I both know it, but I think that Cal Penn could actually do a really good job in this. So I will keep watching this. If I've seen more episodes by the time this comes out, I'll just add in a little bit of editing here. Yeah, episode 3 has come out. I'm still not having a great time, so you can still skip this. If you really want, you may want to have something to help you enjoy it further. I'm going to put this into Let's Get Elfed Up because I don't want to put it too low in case it does get better with more of Cal Penn. Also, the child actors in this are actually pretty good, though I don't know what they're doing with Noel because it feels like Tim Allen just wanted someone to play like Urkel because they made him into a buffoon, and I feel so sorry for the actor. I wasn't having a very good time with this, and I just want to watch the original Santa Claus 1 and 2, honestly, after seeing this.
Oh, I'm sorry about that, man. This is help! What you talking about, man? Don't shoot. Take it. Please don't kill me. I'm getting married. I don't want your bag, man. Help!
And for our final movie from 1983, Trading Places. I was lied to.
Bet you thought I'd forgotten your Christmas bonus. There you are.
$5. Maybe I'll go to the movies by myself.
Half of it is from me.
Thank you, Mr. Mortimer.
Just because he's wearing a Santa suit and it's set at Christmas time once again, this is not a Christmas movie. This appears on Christmas lists, and it's not a Christmas movie, genuinely. It is very much 1980s criticism on greed and stuff. It is quite funny, but it's got so many moments of absolutely abhorrent humor. The F slur is used often, the N slur is used often. Granted, I know that the N slur is meant to be used by people that we're not meant to like, but it's done really casually. There's also terrible racial stereotypes in this. There is also blackface in this movie. Some parts are okay. Jamie Lee Curtis is good. Like, the actors are actually good in it. It's basically a nature versus nurture experiment that happens because of bored billionaires between these two characters, and oh my goodness, do circumstances matter? Yes, they obviously do. So yeah, it's kind of an okay watch, but it's not something I would be saying go right ahead and watch it, and it's definitely not a Christmas movie, so she doesn't even go here. From all of these I've been given my opinions on, because we're all entitled to our opinions. You may disagree with me, you may agree with me. If you've got different takes to me, please do comment them down below. You're all grown-ups here, we can of course still be respectful of each other, so please don't be mean to each other, or even to me. Thank you very much, because I'm making these videos to hopefully make your day a bit better. I don't need to be bullied, okay? So yeah, let me know if there are any other B-grade movies that you want me to review. Next week we're going to be doing the Netflix movies, and then the week after that we're going to be ranking 12 A-tier movies, which you will be voting on the polls and Instagram, because yeah, I'm very keen to make that one because I get to rewatch all the movies that I watch at this time of year anyway. It's a bit sad that none of these movies actually went into the top tier category like what happened last year, but hey, who knows? Maybe you should suggest some movies to me that you think do belong in the B tier top movies, because we're not on about the A tier ones. You know, the A tier ones that we're on about, we're not on about those, okay? I just want to focus on B tier movies because I think there are some definite gems in there, and hopefully I've highlighted some gems for you today that you can maybe go and enjoy. So thank you, lovers, so much. I hope that you're going to have a wonderful festive season, and I will see you again next week. Okay, bye. I should probably put this on, right? Oh yeah.
The little lights are not twinkling. I know, Art, and thanks for noticing.